Hello Stampers, Jeannie Moss here. Welcome to my studio here in Kentucky, where we will be making this little Easter rocker card. And it's called a rocker card because it actually does rock. So we're going to make this today. We'll be using the Excellent Eggs. This is an Easter set from the 2024 January to April mini catalog. And it comes with a coordinating set of dies if you get the bundle. So it has 4 different Easter egg dies. One of them makes this cute little detailed Easter egg. This is one I've cut from some designer series paper. There's a little bunny die, and there are some other dies to decorate the eggs. So this is the set we'll be using. We'll also be using the Kane 3D embossing folder. And we'll be using some DSP designer series paper. We're going to be using some paper from this set, the Delightfully Eclectic set. This is a huge set of paper. We're going to be using this paper right here. But this paper has 48 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. They're all double-sided, and it's a huge value. It's $30 in the catalog, still a great value. But right now, it's available as a celebration item. And I was shocked when I saw that it is a celebration item that's free with $50 here in the US. I thought for sure it would be a $100 item, but it's not. So if you place a $50 order in the US, you can get that package of paper for free. So the other thing we're going to use are going to be these deckled circles dies. Now these were from the last catalog, but they are still available. So you can still get them. You won't see them in the catalog, but you can still get them, and that number is 162286. It has 14 dies. So it has small out to large. Now, the one we're going to be using first is going to be, if you started from the outside, the largest of the dies, it would be the second largest. So that would be this die. And I took a 5.5 by 5.5 square of bubble bath, and I just ran that through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to cut out this, which is going to be our base card. And then I took a piece of the DSP. So this is the piece that I used, and I took the next size down. So this would be the third from the largest, and I cut this piece to go on our card. Now at first I thought, okay, I can cut one whole circle and get 2 out of it. But if your paper is directional, you cannot do that, because then you will end up with this. And when you flip that around to put it on your card, your flowers are all upside down. So learn from my mistake that you can't do that. Now, if you have a non-directional pattern, you can definitely do that. But if your pattern has a top and a bottom, you can only cut it halfway at a time. So I've cut a piece with this. So the first thing that we'll do, let me give you the rest of the supplies. I've cut another circle. This is a smaller one using the same decal dies. This is fresh freesia. So I've cut that one. And then I've got some scraps. These are the basic white. This is a scrap of crushed curry. And this is another scrap of bubble bath. So those are the pieces we'll have. I also have ribbon. And the ribbon is from a set that has 3 different ribbons in it. We're going to use a piece of this pink, but it also comes with a roll of yellow lemon lolly and a roll of the azure afternoon, a really pretty blue. So this ribbon actually comes with 3 rolls of ribbon. So we're going to use that as well. So let's get started. Again, this started with as a 5.5 inch square of bubble bath, and we're just going to take it and we're going to bring it end to end, bring our finger back and kind of score that, and then smooth it out with your bone folder. Now you could put this on your paper trimmer or your scoring tool, and you could score it, but it's just easier. Sometimes it's hard to actually find that exact center, so sometimes it's easier just to fold it. So we're gonna fold that in half. And then, like I told you, I took my circle die, the third largest, and I cut out this piece of DSP. So we're going to just adhere that, and I'm just going to use some multi-purpose glue to do that. I'm not going to put glue right along this edge because this piece is a little bigger than what I really need. So I'm going to do some trimming on that. So I'm not going to put right along the edge. And then, let me bring in a piece of scrap paper here so I don't end up with glue everywhere. Because I will, and you know it. So I'm going to just leave a nice little border of the bubble bath around. And that means this is longer than it needs to be. So now I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim that off. All right, so there we go. There's our card. Then the next thing we're going to do is take our circle, this Fresh Freesia circle, and I put it in the Cane Weave embossing folder, and I ran it through my machine, and I got a piece that looks like this. So now I'm going to attach this to the top of my card. Now, one thing you want to be careful of is you want to make sure that you can still fit your card in your envelope. So you want to, be conscious of that when you're putting this all together. You don't want to put it up real high because then it's not going to fit in your envelope, and you don't want to have your embellishments up too high either. Just keep that in mind. We're going to only put adhesive on the bottom half of this. So I'm going to do it this way because it's going to be sticking up, and we don't want it to be sticking up off of our card. So there we go. And there's our card base. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to get our other pieces ready to go. So I've got a scrap of white, and I've got a couple of ink pads. I've got the Fresh Freesia, and I've got the Bubble Bath. And I've got blending brushes. So what I'm going to do is take my blending brush, and I'm going to start working on the top of this piece. Now, when I tap on my ink pad, I always start out here on my paper because I don't want that glob of ink. So I'll start out here, and then I'll bring it onto my cardstock. And what that does is keeps you from getting that big glob of ink on your cardstock. And I'm going to keep this pretty light. And I'm going to go down about, maybe 2/3 of the way, maybe a little over half of the way. And then I'm going to turn it around, and I'm going to put the Fresh Freesia on the other end. So it's the same technique. Now, I use a different blending brush for different colors. Not individual colors, but like all my pinks, I'll use this brush. This will be for my purples. I won't have one for every single purple, but I'll have a brush that I use for my purples. And it's okay to get up into that pink. That's fine. Those colors will blend together nicely. So now I have this. And I'm going to set this to the side just so it can dry a little bit. And I'm going to do some stamping. So I'm going to stamp my Happy Easter in the center of this Bubble Bath cardstock. And I'm going to do that with Night of Navy. And the reason I'm pulling Night of Navy is because that's what's in our DSP. We have navy in that. So I'm going to just stamp this guy. I really don't need that foam pad because this is a rubber stamp. And I'm going to stamp that pretty much in the center of this piece. So there's Happy Easter. Oh, while I've got that out, I'm going to stamp in the center of my card. And I'm going to stamp, there's no bunny like you. So I'm going to should have done this actually before I put that circle on, but I didn't. So I'm going to put it over a little bit to the left because we're going to save room for our bunny. So there's, like I said, you probably should stamp that before you put that other circle on. You can open that up still, but then you've got that an uneven surface there that you don't want when you're stamping. So learn from my mistakes. I'm taking the gray granite ink pad, and I'm going to stamp our little bunny just on another little scrap. And then our other piece should be dry by now. So I'm going to go back to the Night of Navy one more time. And I have the egg. So this is the egg we're going to use. And we're going to be stamping, we want a piece across the center of crushed curry. So I only really care about this band here that has the little curly cues on it. That's all I really care about for this crushed curry piece. So you can use a scrap and you can stamp on that so that you have that area of the Easter egg. Then our piece here should be dry, and we're going to use the Night of Navy on that, and we're just going to stamp it pretty much in the center of that. So there's our Easter egg. Now the next thing I did was to take blends, and I took my, I believe this is dark Bubble Bath and dark Fresh Freesia, and I colored some areas on this egg. So I just did a little bit of coloring, and I'm not going to make you watch me do all of this because I went ahead and did one, but I did add, again, both of these Fresh Freesia and Bubble Bath, and then I used my die from the stamp set. And that was this smaller of the open dies. And I cut this out so that I have this egg that's been colored and cut. I also used the little bunny die, and I cut the little bunny out. And I colored his ears and his nose, and I colored his toes with the pink, the Bubble Bath blends. So he's ready to go. And then I took that piece that we had stamped extra on the crushed curry, and I cut that out with my scissors. So I have this piece, and that piece is just going to get glued right over this. And the reason we're adding this is because we have some of that crushed curry color in our paper, and we want to, be sure that we're pulling in all of those pretty colors. So that just gets lined up on there and glued right to our egg. So now we have our egg, we have our bunny. I took a die from Stylish Shapes. So this is the die that I used. And I cut out the piece that had the Happy Easter on it. So I just put this on, and I didn't really care about this side over here because that's going to get tucked under our egg. So I didn't even need a piece. If you wanted to do a piece that was long enough for all of that, you could. But this was the scraps that I had. So I just cut that out and left this side to be empty. So that is not die cut on that side. And then we're going to take our egg, and we're going to just put some glue right on that Easter banner, and we'll add our egg right to that banner. Then we want to put this on our card, and we want to put it on our card so that it's a little bit even, you know, so that it's not overbalanced on one side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put dimensionals. So I'm going to put dimensionals like here and here and here, but you don't want to get dimensionals out here because, you know, then it would be stuck to everything. So you want to be careful of where you put your dimensionals. Make sure it's going on something. So I'm putting dimensionals in that area. So now there's nothing that's going to get stuck here. Then I've got my little bunny that I'm going to put on the inside. There's no bunny like you. And I'm just going to put a little bit of my multi-purpose glue. I'm going to stick him right in there. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to add the bow. And I've gone ahead and I've tied a bow because I know you know how to do that and you don't need to see me do that. And I'm going to take some glue dots. Now these are some from old paper pumpkin kits. So I'm going to take a couple of these and I'm going to add them right here and take their little lids off. I think I got a dog hair in there while I was at it. Actually, that one does have a dog hair. Surprise, surprise. I love my dogs, so, you know, I'll put up with their hair. And then now I'm just going to stick that little bow right on there. And there is our card. So now we have this cute little Easter card, and it will rock. How cute is that? So I hope you've enjoyed this project. If you have any questions, you can email me at bluegrassstamper@gmail.com. I have a website. If you'd like to see some other projects, I do have a couple that are coming with the same Easter egg set. So be sure to check out my website and subscribe so that you'll get any updates. The website is www.bluegrassstamper.com. I want to thank you for joining me. And if you need any Stampin' Supplies, I would love for you to shop with me. I appreciate every order I get. Thank you so much. Bye.